All right, thanks, Mr. Loud. Appreciate your time. Welcoming families to our joint secondary campus. Good evening again. Welcome to the Meridian High School Rising Ninth Grade Parent Information Night. Later on in this week, on Thursday in the morning at 8:30, if you have additional questions specific to your student that you'd like answered, we're going to do a morning coffee later this week and answer all your question and answers. As Mr. Loud just mentioned, my name is Matt Sowers. I'm the Director of Secondary School Counseling. It's good to see everyone. This is our third parent program of the course registration season. And so we're looking forward to the parent coffee later on, and that'll end all of the parent programming on the high school side, and then we'll quickly pivot and start working our way all the way down from current 8th graders all the way down to current 5th graders and continue parent programming in the month of February. So thanks for joining us as we continue to plan and look at the journey of transitioning from middle school at Henderson Middle School to Meridian High School. Transitioning to high school, it's an exciting milestone filled with opportunities and challenges. And tonight our goal is to provide you with the tools, knowledge needed to make this process as smooth as possible. Whether it's learning about the course selection process, understanding all the diploma options available, hearing advice from your current students this evening, as well as designing and preparing your students for the road ahead. A lot of the topics that we're going to cover tonight, we're going to highlight on the screen right now on the agenda. For the 25-26 school year, we're going to cover course selection timelines, including key dates, like when students meet with your counselors, both middle school and high school during their flex blocks, as well as the course registration forms, those very, very important due dates. We're also going to go through an overview of all the many different course options, which your students highlighted for me in a video interview that I did earlier. We're going to cover all the different academic pathways to our extensive elective offerings, which include anything from creative writing to computer graphics to music and more. We're going to be covering also this evening important policies. My team knows I love a good policy, like expunging grades from middle school that have a high school credit-bearing credit attached to them. We're also going to be talking about the world language credit exams for students to obtain additional credits currently in middle school this year that are going to be applied to their high school transcript. We're also proud to share the numerous supports that we offer here at Meridian, as well as personalizing their academic assistance. We have with us tonight our amazing counseling team that Mr. Loud referenced earlier, but we also have on the third floor here at Meridian an amazing school psychologist and social worker that round out our mental health team. These resources are here to ensure that students have all the support that you need as you think about your transition from middle school to high school. Later, you're also going to hear again from your current 8th graders and current 9th graders who are going to share different insights and advice about their transition, both currently as they're anticipating coming here to the high school and those that are currently 9th graders reflecting on their 8th grade self and their journey over the first semester. So let's take a look at our student service counseling team that's here with us tonight. Not with us, but hopefully you're familiar with, is Elise Kenny, the Assistant Director of Secondary School Counseling. She's currently supporting 7th grade and then supports me in aligning all of our vertical work. We also have Miss Q right here in the very front. Miss Q supports students with last names A through F. Mr. McAdam, last name students G through MC. Miss Jacobs, last names ME through P, plus our multilingual learners. Miss Chesley, last name Q through Z. Also, which is very, very important, people not with us this evening that you'll get additional time with, Sherry Murrell, our college and career specialist, Miss Lynette Kemp, student service administrative assistant, and my timekeeper, as well as Carla Sanchez, which is our registrar. So I'm going to attempt to play a video. What I had the opportunity to do earlier last week was I talked with Miss Williams, your current 8th grade counselor. I ask for a handful of students that may or may not be open to being interviewed, and I ask them one simple question. What are you excited for as you think about transitioning to high school? It's interesting, this is the second year that we've done this, and each cohort has been slightly different. Last year, every student I interviewed, without giving any anecdotal notes about high school, every student mentioned Mustang Block. Every single one. And what they thought it was is this utopia type of place where we have all this magical time, et cetera, et cetera. It's interesting. Not one student was referencing that. You'll see what they're referencing here in a second. I'm here with Sarah Garrity, and the question we ask is, what are you excited for at Meridian High School next year as you reflect on your transition to high school?
I'm excited for all the opportunities and choices you get as a high schooler, whether that's choosing your schedule, athletics, electives. It's going to be really fun to kind of go into it and pursue what you really want to. If you love science, you can do honors bio or STEM. There's just so many more options, and I'm really excited for that.
I think I'm most excited for the athletic programs they have at Meridian. Because in the middle school, you can't really do any of that. They offer little leagues and stuff like that, but the Meridian team seems so much fun, but it also seems like a lot of work, and I think I'm ready to put that work in. I'm also excited for some of the programs that they offer, the encores that we have here, art and STEM and all that stuff. I like to cook, and I know that won't be offered there, so I'll probably have to go into art or tech theater. Oh, I'm very excited for tech theater.
I'd say football and the sports aspect of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of the school. I know we could play sports in 8th grade, but I'm excited to be a part of the school and be able to play a sport of the school that I'm actually going to now.
I'm excited for many things, including there's gonna be a lot of new electives that I can do, rather than the 4 that we have here. I'm also excited for letter gradings because sometimes the 1 through 8 is kind of confusing. So I don't know, maybe seeing A's and B's and C's will be helpful.
All right. Anything else?
I guess if there's more freedom in high school, that would be nice.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm really excited for a lot of the freedom that we're going to be granted, as well as I'm really excited to try a lot of extracurriculars that are offered at the high school.
All right. Anything else? Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Filming, I'm filming right now, but with Movie Magic, I'm gonna cut it, crop it, all the things. So you'll see a finished product.
One thing about the middle school that's different than high school is that it's more free and kind of open space. In the gym, you have more free time. You can do work from other classes. Some teachers here, they don't let you do work from other classes. They only let you do work in their own class.
What I think I'm excited for is I'm really excited about all the electives because I've seen them on picking schedules and such, and there's a lot of electives and film, and I think that middle school it was very narrow, but in high school it's a lot more open, so I'm really excited to choose something that I'm actually passionate about. And I'm also excited because Meridian's a lot bigger than the middle school, so I won't feel so claustrophobic.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I'm really excited for having a free period and hopefully having a lot of classes with my friends. I'm also excited for the ability to do new and different classes which are not offered in the middle school, and hopefully to see some of my friends who are already in the high school.
All right. You ready? Okay. Here we go.
I'm excited for some of the more shop and hands-on classes like robotics and shop, of course. And I'm excited to explore more of my interests.
Okay. Anything else? Great. Thank you. All right, thank you. Shout out to the 8th grade students that participated. It seems like this year the flavor was electives, and they were very interested in having this open space. Again, thank you for being here tonight and entrusting us with your students as they start forming their journey from middle school to high school. Up next, we have Ms. Jacobs, and she's going to go through, Mr. McAdam. And Mr. McAdam will go through the Virginia diploma options. Mr. McAdam.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being here. By the way, we just found out 2-hour delay tomorrow, so we're extending this an extra 2 hours tonight. So we're just going to hang here for a while. We wanted to make sure you are aware of the 2 different diploma types that are available to public high school students in the state of Virginia. I'm sure many of you are at least aware of the IB diploma. That's a completely sort of separate diploma that we're not going to get too in the weeds with tonight, because the IB diploma program is specifically designed for 11th and 12th grade students, and your students are going into 9th grade next year. So while it may be something that they're sort of thinking about doing at some point, it is not going to directly relate necessarily to their choices for next year. But we do have an IB coordinator here, diploma program coordinator. His name is Josh Singer. They had a night a couple weeks ago, I believe, so maybe you were able to attend that and get some more information about that. But he runs a program every year. So if you have questions about the IB diploma program, you can certainly reach out to Josh. The 2 different types of diploma for Virginia students are the standard diploma and the advanced. And I'm just going to kind of go over what some of those differences are between those 2 diplomas. The first thing I want to just say before that, most of Meridian students go on to a 4-year school, and it is possible to go to a 4-year college or university whether you get an advanced diploma or a standard diploma. I think sometimes there's some misinformation about that in order to go to college you have to do the advanced diploma, and that is certainly not true. Some colleges, maybe even many colleges, will expect that a student has taken at least a couple years of a foreign language in high school, and so even though maybe they don't meet the requirements of an advanced diploma, maybe they've taken a couple years, and so they've met sort of the requirements of what a college expects a student coming in as a first-year student. So a standard diploma, you have to earn 22 credits over your 4 years of high school. Most, if not all, of your children right now are probably earning at least 1 high school credit at Mary Ellen Henderson through the World History or Humanities course. And then some of you probably have students that are doing maybe a high school math or a language credit. So they're going to come in, some of them, to high school with 1, 2, 3, 4 credits already on their way to these diplomas. A standard diploma does not have a foreign language requirement. That's probably the major difference between these 2 types of diplomas. So for standard, there is no requirement to take a second language. A student could go all the way through high school, never take a second language, and still graduate. The other differences, as you can see, with an advanced, you have to take English for all 4 years, math, science, history. So you have to have 4 credits in all of those subject areas in addition to the foreign language. Both of these diplomas require that students earn 5 what are called verified credits. A verified credit is when a student takes and passes a course and then takes an SOL, a Standards of Learning test, in that subject area. So this year, your students who are taking the World History or Humanities course will likely earn that verified credit in history. That means they will never have to take a history SOL ever again. And then those who are taking a math might take a math SOL this year. Let's say if they're in an Algebra 1 course in 8th grade, they might take and pass that SOL, but for some odd reason, the state's like, that's great, you did that, you passed your SOL, but now you have to take another one when you're in high school. So you have to be while physically in the high school, you have to take another math SOL. It's a federal requirement. But otherwise, students have to earn verified credits in English, 2 of those, history, math, and science. So again, the major difference for an advanced diploma, a student has to take 3 years of one foreign language or 2 years of 2 different. So let's say if a student started is taking American Sign Language and has taken that for 2 years but decides that they want to switch to a different language, maybe they want to take French now, they could switch to French and then do French 1 and 2. So ASL 1 and 2, French 1 and 2, they've met the requirement. Of course, we encourage students to continue, but some kids just really, foreign languages don't take with them, and if they, by the time they hit their junior year, let's say if there's other interests they have that they want to pursue, we encourage that because they've met the requirement, they were kind of doing that just to get that done, and now they're going on to things that they have more interest in, which is fine. Otherwise, a lot of similarities. Every student in this building has to take a class called Personal Finance and Economics. That is available to most of our students through an online course, but we also do offer an in-school class for that for those students that may need a little extra support. I think that's all I want to say about that. We also wanted you to be aware of what actually appears on a Meridian High School transcript. The only classes that a student might currently be taking at Mary Ellen Henderson that will appear on their high school transcript are those high school credit-bearing courses. So your humanities or world history, your high school level math, and high school level foreign language courses. No other courses from Mary Ellen Henderson. And we indicate that it was taken at the middle school, but for high school credit. So we say which schools were attended, the high school credit courses taken, what they earned, and then of course their grade and their grade point average, the cumulative grade point average. We only ever report when students, I know this seems like a long way off, but it goes by fast. When students are applying to college, we only report their weighted GPA. And what that means is any course taken in high school that is an IB course, an AP course, or a dual enrollment, meaning it's a college level course taught at the high school, those classes are weighted 1 extra point. So typically an A would be a 4.0. In an IB AP class, it's a 5.0, et cetera. So B is a 4, et cetera. So we only ever show their weighted GPA. Obviously at this point, students in 8th grade won't have a weighted GPA unless in very unusual cases, they took an AP class in middle school, but that is extremely rare. So that weight doesn't really come into play usually until 10th grade when they might take an AP government class and then a lot of courses in 11th and 12th grade. I think I said all this. Yes, so you see there about the grade point average and how that works. The other thing, I think it was on the screen, but I want to make sure you know, attendance appears on a transcript. And that's kind of important because attendance is super important. You have to be in school in order to do well. And we expect kids to be here every day. So, and it does, each year, those attendance records do get recorded on a transcript and are sent off to colleges when we send that transcript. So it's important that kids are here as much as they possibly can be. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Q maybe now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is the timeline that your kiddos are going to be looking at for course registration. So the first event is now here tonight. Us, yay. The next thing is that, as we mentioned, we'll do a parent coffee Thursday morning. That's usually a much smaller event where we're just in one of the classrooms up on the second floor. So if you have any specific questions that you feel like maybe are just specific to your kiddo and not for like the greater good, that is a good time where you can kind of connect with us and ask us some questions. We will go over to the middle school next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays and present a condensed version of this directly to your students during their flex time. That is also when they will get access to the course request form in Schoology, which is how we have them pick classes and then submit it in. The course request forms are due on Friday, February 7th at 3 p.m., so they just submit it via Schoology. And then they will meet with Ms. Williams to actually put the courses into PowerSchool and go over everything. So she will be meeting with students one-on-one the week of the 10th through the 14th. Okay, so that's all time leading up to that when we're hoping students are thinking about their classes, researching them, picking, making their choices, and doing all of that. There's also a link here. We'll put the slides up on the website, but there's also a whole section of our website dedicated to course selection and the timelines and all the presentations, so you guys kind of have everything in one place. These are the actual options that students will be picking from next year. It sounds like they are very excited about the extra choices in high school, but for ninth graders, there are electives are probably their biggest choice. Everything else, they just kind of have a couple of choices here and there. So for English, there is Langen Lit 9 and Langen Lit 9 Honors. Oh my gosh, what did it do? No, we've gone past my ability to do this. No, Miss Jacobs is here. She's gonna save it. It like slid. I don't know what that is. Yeah, right? I did something magic. I didn't even know. I'll keep going because they'll come back up.
Here, do you want these? Here.
Just have them memorized. The options for history, there's only one choice. They all take world history and geography too. There's no levels, there's no honors, there's no everything. So everyone will be placed at the same level, so that's easy. They don't have to make a choice. For math, they will be moving on to whatever sequentially comes next. So that's really the one that is gonna, your kids are gonna kind of be all over the place based on the math level they're in now. We usually have, we're back.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I jumped to science. I'll go back to math in a minute. So for science, biology and honors biology are the science offerings that we have that end in an SOL. So those are more rigorous levels. If we have a kiddo who struggles more in science and is maybe not quite ready for a science course that ends in an SOL, we also offer environmental science. Okay? And teachers will be having conversations with your students about all of this. They'll be taking a form around, they get recommendations from their teachers, so that these are all conversations that will be happening in these couple of weeks. So now we're back to the math one. Again, it's really gonna be based on what they're taking now. The teachers weigh in, I think, most heavily on math recommendations, especially in the high school, just because one year builds off the other so much, so that where they are now and their skill set now is really gonna determine where the best placement is for them. We often have the most questions about math placements and sequencing. So at the very end of this presentation, we have QR codes to reach out to our math specialist, whose name is Jennifer O'Keefe, because I know a lot of times parents' math sequences is where they have the most questions. It can be a little tricky to navigate that. We also have language acquisition, so again, that goes sequentially based on where they are now. They obviously will likely just be moving up to the next level of their language. And then all of our ninth graders take health and PE. That also has a CPR component of it that they require for graduation. And then their most apparently anticipated part are their elective options, and there are more. The one caveat I will give parents to maybe try to feed to your kiddos when you're talking to them, the times when we see ninth graders the most in our offices in the beginning of the year is changing an elective. I think for the most part, their core subjects, they're pretty much in a good fit, but their electives can oftentimes send them for a loop, and sometimes that's because there are so many options. They also have a much shorter deadline to adjust their electives if it's not a good fit. They only have the first 10 days of school. After that, they are where they are. We can't change them into a different elective, and they are in electives for the whole year, which is also a different experience for them. So have those conversations with them now to make sure they really know what they're getting themselves into, but also in the first week of school, maybe kind of dig in more about their electives than anything else to find out if they're happy. If they are not, they definitely have that time to come see us and switch into a new class. We don't want them to be unhappy. But if we have students who come to us a month, 2 months into the school year, their main option at that point is just to drop down to a study hall. We can't start them in a brand new course. Okay, so these are some of the options. We have our arts classes, ceramic, creative writing, journalism works with the lasso. We have our sustainability elective, design, comp sci. I mean, we have, I think, a really good variety, so the choices can sometimes be overwhelming for students. So you'll have a link later. We have videos that teachers make that kind of explain some of the electives and the courses in more detail. I think sometimes those are helpful. And this, I think, we're going to go to Ms. Chesley. I want to.
Okay, so now that you've learned about the different course options for your students, how to make informed decisions. Obviously, talk to you guys, their parents. If they have older siblings who have taken some of these courses, that's a really good opportunity for them to hear about what's expected in the courses. Review the program of studies. This is going to provide a link right to our website. We describe every one of our courses. We list any prerequisites that are needed, and basically what they can expect in that course. Teachers have also created videos especially about the elective courses. Some former students are a part of those videos, just talking about what they do in those electives, because sometimes, a class like design, kids aren't really sure what they're going to do, but their friends want to take it, so they're going to sign up. Not a great idea. Review the curriculum and IB diploma night information that we had right after we got back from winter break. There's a link in there too. And then definitely reach out to Ms. Williams, your student's counselor, if you have any questions or concerns or just need more guidance. We really want students to, make those good decisions about where to go, because it's really hard once school starts for them to have to change their schedule. While we're happy to help them and do it, sometimes their whole schedule flips if they're moving from, one elective to a different one or honors to a different level class. So we just want to make sure that they're thinking really strategically about what they want to take and taking what's right for them, not because their friends, they all want to take, honors English, honors bio, might not be the right fit for them in 9th grade. We want to make sure they're having a well-balanced year, doing things that are fun to them, but also challenging them. And that's going to look different for everyone. Okay. This is what the course registration form looks like. We ask them to highlight and check, or have an X, next to the course that they'd like to take. We also really want them to list some alternate electives so that, if a course fills up, we're not bothering them over the summer by saying, okay, what else do you want to take? We ask for 3, and it's usually pretty helpful for them to fill this out. This is going to be an assignment in Schoology for them. Whoops. Okay. And now Ms. Jacobs is going to talk about expunging grades.
Okay, hi everyone. A couple things to just note on here that I know they were on the other slides, but I think is really helpful to remember is honors courses are not weighted. I know some districts nearby do that. It will not penalize your students because whenever they apply to college, we actually send a school profile and everything that outlines that. But it's really important for them to know and want to make sure that you all are aware of that as well. And when we talk about expunging grades, this is always tricky, right? I think that sometimes families, students, if they're not super happy with the grade they had in middle school, they might wonder if this is a good option for them. We definitely see times where students, especially that world history course, will expunge and not quite realize that they're also losing that verified credit that we talked about earlier with that SOL. So it's something where if you all, in consultation with your with your student's counselor, Ms. Williams, decide that's what's best for you all. Of course, we support that, but want to make sure you're making a really well-informed decision as well, because those decisions do have to be made by June 30th. So at the end of this school year, Mr. Sowers will send out a form that you all can review, and any questions you have, Ms. Williams will be happy to answer. Some of those courses that I'm talking about, where families sometimes explore expunging from middle school, are those courses that Mr. McAdam talked about earlier too. So Algebra 1, Geometry, the history courses, and those world languages. Again, if you have questions, just let us know and we're happy to help. I know it's a big decision to make. We also offer a world language credit exam. I'll touch briefly on this. I know so many students do opt to just take the courses in the classroom, but for students that are proficient in other languages, say you all speak another language at home as well, they can actually take this exam, and depending on how they score, they can earn up to 3 world language credits. So this is a really good opportunity. This is not something you all have to decide right now. I know it's a lot of information. Every year, there will be opportunities for them to take this exam. We do have the brochure linked there. And they will be happening in March. So again, and they can actually sit for it twice throughout from 7th grade to 12th grade. So if that's something you guys are interested in, there will be an opportunity this year, but otherwise they can wait and see if that's something they're interested in later on in high school. And that assesses, yes, the reading, writing, listening, speaking, all of those portions. Okay, this piece, I know this is, as students come to high school and they are so excited about those electives, these are some of those conversations that are most difficult for us to have, and I know have the biggest impact on your students and your conversations at home as well, is those electives and what it looks like when they go to a class and realize it's not really the one they wanted, what that process looks like of changing things around. Because again, they are year-long courses. I know that's different, and we don't want them to be in a class, feeling stuck in a class that they're miserable in. So the sooner they have those conversations with you all and us, the better. It is those first 10 days of school when we'll be exploring changes like that. The first few days we do ask students, if possible, right? I know that there's a lot of excitement, a lot of questions there, to refrain from having conversations about switching, and we really reserve those days for more so if there's an error with their schedule, if there's a hole in a schedule, we'll make sure that when they start, if any of these things, we'll address right away so that they don't have any extra anxiety as they start high school. But those are what those first few days we try to hold for, and within those first 10 days is when we will have them stop by Student Services, pick up the schedule change request form. It will go home to you all to sign. And when we can, we will make changes, but we cannot guarantee them. And I know that the friends are a big piece of it too, and that is not usually a reason we would be able to make a shift, is if their friends are in a different class. Even if they know which block it is, we really try to balance our classes to make sure there's not one class that's really large, but I know that can be really difficult for them to understand, and we are here to support you all and field any questions that you have. That first quarter, when students drop courses, I know Ms. Q is talking about like how study hall might be an option if they really aren't happy in their elective. We do offer some of the high C courses like the personal finance or econ, but when they drop that first quarter, it will not be reflected on their transcript. Anything after first quarter, so second quarter, third, fourth, they will either have the WP, the withdraw pass, which does not negatively impact their GPA, or the withdraw fail, and when students receive an F, it will impact their GPA. So it's a really important thing to think through. And again, we are here to help support you all with any questions that you have. Okay, supports we have at Meridian. I know that you all have a lot of really amazing supports over at the middle school, and it can be scary knowing those are about to shift, but we have a great team here, and we're really excited to support you and your students. Some of the supports we have are reading strategies courses for those that might need some extra support, MTSS, or those multi-tiered systems of support. We offer interventions during Mustang Block, so I know that is a time where students are really excited because there can be some free time and flexibility, but it is also a time where teachers are not teaching, and there are certain days of the week. There might be like a math day or a history day or a science day. So we really encourage students, especially as they transition, to visit their teachers, use that time wisely, and there will be reading support, math support, behavioral support for those that are identified and needing some additional services. We offer the after school or the Saturday Learning Lounge. This is a really good option too for students who maybe they are needing some extra help in science, but they would love to have a peer tutor. And students sign up for that and can help volunteer, and it's always more fun to learn from another student. So there will be teachers there, but there will also be students there ready and happy to help your students get the support they need. And late buses also, late buses will be provided. I don't know that whenever this starts in the first couple of weeks of school, just let us know if you have any questions about it. But we try to help with that and snacks and all those things. Mustang ambassadors, we have amazing students as well who participate in Mustang ambassadors and are walking around. I know students get lost we have a lot of floors here, so students will be walking around and trying to make sure they know where to go and get all of their questions answered. You have our school counseling team, our school psychologist, our social worker, who is really helpful too if families are needing any additional resources. She is always willing to help, and we work really closely with her. So I know Ms. Hoover, we work closely with too. Whatever you need, feel free to reach out to Ms. Daniels at any point too. College and career specialist, she is amazing. Her office is right in the library, and case managers as well for students who have those services. So now we're going to turn things over to hear from current ninth graders. I'm going to do my best with this video because we're holding the mic to the speaker. So give me 1 second.
I'm here with Matthew Peng. So the question that we're going to ask is, what tip would you tell your family that they should know about ninth grade that would have helped you with your transition from 8th grade to ninth grade?
So something I would tell my family and my past self would be knowing how to structure my time and all the work that you have to do in high school. Since in 8th grade, I really just went with the flow and did the work right before it was due. But now with high school, there's a lot more work and you have to structure it and in order to get it done on time and submit it by the due date.
All right, thank you.
Definitely like using Mustang Block as more of a as like a catch-up instead of like hanging out with your friends. I definitely used it as like hanging out with my friends in the beginning of the year, and then I started to realize like that it was really helpful when I started asking my teachers questions during Mustang Block.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
A tip that I would tell my family, at least, or other families, I would tell them to make sure to stay engaged with their teachers and also keep communication with their teachers and kids, because if there's a miscommunication from the parent on the parent side thinking that the kid is supposed to do a certain thing, but they're not, because in class you're like, for example, if you're supposed to do classwork and you have no homework at all for basically the whole year, then the parent wouldn't understand that unless if they keep communicating with the teacher to stay engaged. So that's my tip. I would advise making sure to reach out to the teachers and stay engaged so you understand what's going on.
Awesome, thanks, man. Great. Giving yourself advice, giving your parents advice.
I think a tip I would give is to kind of try and stay on top of your work, and it's something that I kind of still struggle with, but just kind of like remembering like what you have and like what assignments you need to do, and also kind of like balancing like schoolwork and kind of doing other activities like outside of school.
So again, it's filming. Don't worry about it. I will edit every aspect. Make us all look like superstars.
Well, I would definitely tell my family and myself that I was talking to him. I would say it's really not that hard. The structure is the same, other than Mustang Block, which is, I mean, really great. But there's not too much change. Don't overwork yourself, and it's not going to be as hard as you think. Also, be grateful you got into ceramics instead of theater. It was full, but ceramics is a really fun class.
All right, thank you. All right. Thanks, Ms. Jacobs. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, like interviewing both 8th grade and 9th grade and just seeing that full continuum. Ironically, when I went last year and filmed 8th grade students, and I blindly asked the counselors, think of a good student to highlight that's a 9th grader, good representation, has a good lens, has been here or is brand new. that can give a kind of that diverse perspective. Several of them identified the exact same students that were filmed the previous year. So I think that's kind of a testament to the students that we're highlighting here. We do want to do quick reminders here on this last screen. Again, next Tuesday, 28th and the 30th, that's when we're going to be visiting the Flex classes. We will be walking over the long journey from middle school and the high school. We'll be making that trip over, talking with students, about 25-minute sessions, abbreviated. The forms are going to be due on the 7th at 3 p.m. And then your course request forms, those are all happening within Schoology. The thing that I want to kind of stress on the Schoology assignment, if your student has been with us since 5th grade, they've done this every single year for me. So they are very in tune to what this process looks like. If they are brand new, please reach out to Ms. Williams. Please reach out to myself. I'm happy to answer any questions along that way. And then in terms of programming students and helping them get accoladed more to our high school, it's amazing how many students right now are in the middle school that take classes here in the high school, or a few of our students in the high school taking classes in the middle school. I would say overall our students will say that they understand the layout and they know where to go, and then as soon as they get their schedule in front of them and they have to report to a specific classroom, they go from completely knowledgeable and overconfident to, will you help me please? So we do two things. In June, we'll do a scavenger hunt and a meet and greet with students to have them walk the campus to very specific areas that's outside of math or language acquisition courses. In August, at the very beginning, we do all of our early onboarding where we do formalized tours with our Mustang ambassadors, and we do again another meet and greet. We also kind of want to close tonight with additional math questions. We know that there's historically been a lot of questions about that vertical alignment, maybe very specific curriculum type of questions, questions about taking courses in a traditional program which is during the school year, or how do I take classes outside of the school year, which is what we consider semester 3. So we just completed semester 1. We're now starting semester 2. Semester 3 typically starts in April, where a lot of our students will request classes, and they'll continue taking classes throughout the summer. So if there's specific questions about the vertical alignment, curriculum, math sequencing, all of those, we have some Scan Me codes here, from whether it's from Miss O'Keefe, which is our math specialist, or Sarah Leahy, which is the math specialist in the middle school. Both of them work in tandem to help place students and give their recommendations. I also want to close before we jump in and have a few minutes for a question and answer. I'm going to go to the Henderson website, which hopefully you're familiar with. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and select, let me put Mary in there. Yeah. So I want to kind of highlight where's this presentation housed, where's the information that we need to go to. And so from the main menu at Mary Ellen Henderson, if we scroll down to under Counseling, Special Education, Student Services, you're going to see a tab here marked Course Selection 25-26. And then if you have students that are going to be a rising 6th grade, rising 7th grade, rising 8th grader within your household, all this information is here for your families as well. We have linked already the high school program of studies. The middle school program of studies is almost in completion, so we're excited about linking that on here for families. You'll see on here all the key presentations. So far, the presentation that Ms. Q and Ms. Jacobs referenced earlier, that was that IB diploma and transcript and curriculum night, that's already been linked. The information that you're consuming right now, tomorrow morning when we arrive, whenever that time is, I'll be sure to link this presentation here for your families to be able to consume and receive all those links. In addition to, if you click on the drop-down menu, this is going to give you a hyperlink directly into the high school program of studies, as well as the whole course selection process. Again, if I scroll down and I look at 9th grade, now all of a sudden I have just the information that I need to consume for just 9th grade. Anything that's in italics, once we have those presentations, the similar like right now, the following day, all the information that you're consuming, the same way with your students as they consume it, all of it will be housed here. So at this point, I'm going to come down from the formal presentation. I want to thank everyone. We will do a Q&A, so if you have any questions, we do have roughly 10 minutes to field questions. We'll just ask for families to raise their hand, and we'll repeat the question, and our panel of experts here will be able to answer those questions for you. So I'm going to come down, and then if we have questions, we'll field those, and then we'll wrap up here by 8 p.m.